Hi, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your April 6, 2023 full moon reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will all be listed in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let me just say, if you're interested in looking at my friend's YouTube channel, his name is Eddie's Tarot here on YouTube. He will also be linked in the description box below. He is absolutely brilliant, so go check him out. Now, now we can clear the energy space, moving away any negativity, raising our own energy vibration, and again, releasing any negativity. So let's take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. So let's see the energy we need to be mindful of during this full moon in Libra. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. This is the Ace of Swords. So remember here, Cancer, is that you're ruled by the moon. So there's always going to be added power to a full moon or a new moon, or even the phases of the moon. You can be very, very sensitive to. The Ace of Swords reversed is something very cutting that was said. It's something very hurtful, hateful, that is going to come up during this time. It doesn't have to be that it was said during this full moon. It can be that it was said quite a long time ago. But it's something that's scarred, and it's something that has stayed with you. This is going to be a time where we have to be mindful of it coming up again. Because if we don't release it into the universe, if we don't let it go, it will always keep on wounding us and stopping us from expressing what we want in our world, from saying what we want in our world, from speaking our truth and moving forward in our power. So just be aware of that. Now let's look at what Spirit wants us to be aware of. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Ooh. Here we have family. And this is a time for us. For us, Cancer, we need that family energy, whether it's the family we're born into, the family that raised us, the family that we created. It doesn't really matter. But we need that connection, whether the people are related to us or not. That connection is so important. That sense of community, that sense of group, that sense of love, that sense of understanding, even connecting ourselves with our ancestors is going to be so powerful to us, because there's a sense of, I'm living, for some of you Cancers, okay, because it's coming through so strongly, it's more than just one person, but there's a sense of, I'm living a life they never even could have imagined that could be lived. And that is something that you have to look at with pride. Even if you look at your family history and think, oh, well, it's nothing remarkable, or it's not something like that I would be proud of for one reason or another. I don't know exactly why, but there is a sense here of they are astoundingly proud of you. So just be aware of that. Now let's see what the tarot has to say. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Ooh. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Okay. Interesting. So we don't feel like we're stepping into our power right now. So that's something that needs to be acknowledged just right off the bat, that there's something around us that is holding us back. And let's talk a little bit about this moon and how it's all correlating, and about this time astrologically and how it's all correlating to our cards. So we have the 7th full moon, okay? Now we've had 7 months of this, right? Where the full moon falls within 16 degrees of the sign. So this full moon is 16 degrees in Libra, and the 16th card in the tarot is the Tower. So this is 7 months of profound change that has come into our lives, that has shaken our foundation in big ways, in small ways. Now, we're also entering into eclipse season, so that's something we need to be aware of. We have 4 planets in Aries. Aries is the warrior pioneer sign. It gives us a new start. It's a new beginning. Yet, we're apprehensive about this new beginning. There's something within us that wants us to move forward in love, wants us to move forward in creation, also wants us to move forward in embracing our sacred masculine energy. And we're sitting here thinking, I don't think so. Like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. So just be aware of that. Now, we're in Aries. The sun is in Aries, right? The moon is in Libra. This is sister sign. So like any good sisters, right? They can either be the best of friends or the worst of enemies. So this is going to be a time where we can almost feel like our stars are in conflict with each other because the sun and the moon are in conflict with each other and they're all conjunct Jupiter, right? So if that happens and we feel like, okay, this is just harder energy for me to get through, that's because Jupiter amplifies. Jupiter amplifies the pioneering, adventurer energy, warrior energy of the Aries. It amplifies the harmonious, balanced, healing energy of the Libra, even justice energy of the Libra. So we can find this to be very at odds with each other. We can find ourselves to be very much at odds with each other. We don't know if we want to go the more soothing route of Libra. We don't know if we want to go the fiercer route of Aries, and we're judging ourselves super hard. So just be mindful of this. As judgment reversed is crowning us. And judgment reversed means that we're looking at our own inner world. We're not looking at everybody else and everything else. We're looking at our own inner world. And I'm just seeing that we're really looking at ourselves very harshly. Mars is out of bounds, astrologically speaking, till May. And what this means is that it's amplifying the energy of Aries, which is, Mars rules Aries. So that energy of the warrior is coming through. And again, we're not sure if we want to move forward as the adventurer. We're not sure we want to move forward as the warrior. And that shows with the King of Cups reverse. We can be very apprehensive of embracing our sacred masculine energy, whether we are masculine identifying, female identifying, feminine identifying, it doesn't really matter. What is here is that I want to move forward in love, in peace, and in harmony. And how can I do that if I'm embracing a warrior spirit? How can I do that if I'm angry? We can actually be afraid right now to be angry for one reason or another. Now, this doesn't mean losing our temper. This doesn't mean letting our anger just take control of us. But there is a fear here of how do I get to be angry and have what I love? Because we have here the 10 of Cups, and they all live happily ever after. That is joy and happiness and success and beauty and loveliness. But if I'm not that calm, loving, Cancer energy of Cancer is described usually as the mother, right? As the beautiful, healing, loving, compassionate mother. If I'm not that healing energy for everybody else, how can I have what I love? How can I have what I want? And that's what some of us are really questioning during this time. Or we can be looking at it and saying, I don't want to be the mother. I don't want this. And that's okay too. I'm not here to validate you, but it's that's okay. Your path, what brings you happiness is perfect. And if you're a guy listening to this and saying, I'm not going to be a mother, there is this sense of also coming to terms with mother figures in our lives that is going to be a very powerful part for us. And so we're looking at what we love, we're looking at what we desire, we're looking at what happiness means to us. And we're starting to kind of break that down. And it's even breaking it down through living what hasn't made us happy, what hasn't brought us to the place that we want to be. And there is this fear of even leading the way in what we love and what we desire. There's a sense of, well, how do I do this? How do I get there? We can be feeling angry. We can be feeling overwhelmed. We can find it very, very easy to fall into kind of a negative Aries space of my temper gets the best of me. We don't want that. We can fall into a negative Libra space too very easily of, well, I need somebody to validate me, right? Is this the right thing? Am I moving the right way? Am I doing this the right way? Type of thing. Or just wanting everything to be so just and so fair that we're taking on everybody else's problems. We're taking on everybody else's burdens. And we're saying, oh, I can lead you the way. I can lead you the way, which is also a very negative Cancer trait where I can help you. I'll just take away all your burdens and you just follow me. We don't want any more burdens. We just don't. And that's going to be something that we need to come to terms with, is that we don't need to save everybody. And that sounds like a very harsh thing to say. But with the King of Cups reversed, we need to learn how to lead the way for us, not lead the way for everybody else. And again, that's something that's harsh to say, but it's going to be very powerful for us. And it leads us to the Hierophant. The Hierophant is Taurus energy, okay? The Hierophant is also finding a place where we belong. This is rules. This is the wheel being created, right? I was reading a book recently, and they said when the wheel was first created, it was carved like out of stone. And then when the person made it out of wood in lighter materials, it was just like a revelation. Like they totally reinvented the wheel because they didn't make it out of stone. So here, it's taking something that has already been done, like the wheel, but it's making it completely your own. There's a sense of there's a place for you. You don't have to carve out your own little niche that you feel like, oh, nobody's ever done this before. It's going to be so hard. There's a community for you if you want to connect with it. But there's also a tradition for you that you are embracing. And again, it can be a family tradition. It can be a family gift. You know, people have this gift within them. It could be a psychic gift, an empath gift, you know, just a spark to you that your ancestors didn't get to utilize. They didn't get to embrace it. So this is a time where you're going to see that you're embracing something that was deeply inside you already. There is a strong sense of tradition to you. And that's kind of cool, like upholding traditions. But also be very mindful of not letting the traditions rule you. This is going to be a time where you're battling between convention and nonconformity, okay? There's also a sense here that divinity hasn't heard our wish, that I'm not going to get what my soul really is wishing for. And there's also a sense of I'm starting to realize what I really wanted, what I really desired. And it can't even be like my outward wish overpowered my soul's wish. And I went after the outward wish, the one that you cross your fingers for or say, oh, this is what I want. And the inward wish was something very, very different. We're coming to terms with that, if that's the case, because for some it is. It's a sense of like, oh, well, how do I move forward here? Or how do I embrace this? Or it's too late, I already gave up on it. This is Aquarius energy, okay? Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. Understand that the moon is quincus Uranus. Uranus is the planet of awakening. Uranus is the planet of, you know, big power coming into play. And so there are big awakenings here that are going to be acknowledged. And that's going to be something that we feel like, oh, I've missed the boat, you know, with this, or I've missed this. And you haven't. This is within you. This is not a time. This is not a time to be focusing on everybody else. You're going to want to, because Cancer, that's where you feel most at home. Like, I'm going to focus on everybody else. I'm going to heal with everybody else. Like, I'm going to pull everybody forward. This is a time just to focus on you. And that is going to be the hardest thing you ever do. Like, especially during this moon, to just focus on you. This moon is all about healing. This, you know, full moon in Libra is all about healing. The Libra energy diffuses the intensity of Aries. It brings balance. It brings harmony. It brings a sense of power to us. It brings justice and a voice for all. You cannot be that justice and that voice for all. But if you live in peace, if you live in grace, if you live calmly, you can be. Which almost seems to be the exact opposite of what the Aries sun is telling us to do, which is saying, be the adventurer, be the warrior, go after. We're coming to terms with how we do this for us. We cannot carry everybody. And that is one of the hardest lessons we are going to learn during this time. But it is a profound one. And it's not saying to leave people and say, that's it, I'm taking care of me now. It is a real sense of saying, I emotionally cannot be responsible for everybody else. I emotionally cannot carry this. And that is going to be the most powerful thing to us, because we're following our bliss. We may even just be learning what our bliss is, and it doesn't matter how old we are. We're starting to see, I can have happiness in my life. I can have joy. I can have beauty. And that is tremendous. And we're not judging ourselves anymore. We're going to be very judgy with ourselves in the beginning, but there's almost a sense of like, I release this. I have to live in the present. We're stopping living in the past. We're stopping living in the future. The present is what we need to have, is how we need to live. So let's see what the moon has to say for herself. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Okay. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Okay. So it's really interesting here is that we want a change. Like we're like all for this. Okay. So let's start here. Let's start at the beginning. Temperance, balance, not temperance, judgment, like the sense of judging, opening up the world. I do see it as a balance coming in. Okay. Our path is not unknown to us, but we're afraid to take these steps. There's something here where like there's a new adventure, there's a new way forward, and we're thinking, no, thank you. Like, nah, I'm good. And here it says you're very close to achieving your goals. You are. Your path is going to take you someplace that you didn't expect. Like you're climbing upside down. And you're going to think, how does that work? Divinity has a plan. It's going to be the hardest thing in the world for us to accept that plan and to say, maybe I don't have the answers. Maybe you can't read it in a book. Maybe you have to live it, experience it, take that jump and go for it. You're good enough. That's something we're not believing right now. We have to start to trust ourselves. We also have to start to trust the moon. We have to start to trust the universe. We have to start to trust our ancestors and the world and the energy that we're connecting with, and to look at what makes us happy and to trust what makes us happy, not who makes us happy or what are we doing for somebody else that makes us happy, but what are we doing for ourselves, Cancer, that makes us happy. There's fear around us, and we're having a terribly hard time stepping out of our comfort zone because we're having a terribly hard time connecting with the sacred masculine energy that makes us up who we are. We could have had a bad experience. This could be, a father figure that wasn't the best. This could be a partner, a lover who wasn't the best, and now we equate that with fear. Or we can even look at it ancestrally and say, well, my mom didn't have a good marriage. My grandma didn't have a good marriage. My great-grandmother didn't have a good marriage. My great-grandmother didn't have a good marriage, if one at all. And be very apprehensive about this because of it. And there's a lot of fear there because of that. And we carry that. We could carry that generationally. Whether we be male or female or however we identify, it's like, man, this is weighing me down. And we fear even releasing it because what if I let that sacred masculine energy into my life? Where will it lead me? Where will it take me? What will become of it? How do I even handle that? Especially if we didn't grow up around like knowing what sacred masculine is. We talk about toxic, patriarchy. That's great. Okay. But what is positive patriarchy? What is that? How do we embrace that? Do we say all this is good and all this is bad because we are human beings and we like absolutes? No, that's silly. This is embracing positive masculinity and finding out what the yin and the yang is within us. The balance of masculine and feminine that we need in order to exist in this world. We need to show the world who we really are, and we can do that. We're not afraid to do that here, Cancer. And we're not afraid to bring the change that this moon is bringing us into our world. And we're not afraid of the institutions or the groups or, kind of like the way this is done. Once we find a blueprint, we're like, oh, okay, that's how it is. But we don't know how that's how it is. We don't even know right now what we're searching, which you might say, Dane, this is absolutely useful. Then that I don't know what I'm searching. I don't know what I'm supposed to find. You're supposed to find the masculine aspect of you. Whether you be masculine or feminine, it doesn't matter. You're supposed to find that aspect of you. That power of your voice, that sense of activity of the body, that sense of imagining, becoming thought, and then becoming reality. And doing it with confidence. That's where you're supposed to be. Show the world the real you. We can do that, most definitely, especially when it's around love and compassion and giving of ourselves. But what when it's not about sacrificing anything about us? How do we change our world? How do we move us forward? It brings us here to the star, what we deeply wish for, which is balance, and knowing that luck is on our side. Luck just being fate or happenstance, something bigger than ourselves being on our side. It moves us to our subconscious energy to be mindful of, which is rebirth. We're scared of changing. We're scared of being reborn. We're scared of moving things forward, of heralding in a new day, a new dawn, a new understanding of us, of even embracing the sacred feminine, because what is that? What is life without giving of our own energy and source? That's a big question for us. How do we embrace the pure beauty and power of this healing moon? Of this moon that says, focus on your health, focus on yourself, don't get obsessed, but just focus on the fact that you matter and you deserve to be here. Our subconscious message from Spirit here is devoted. What are we devoted to? Devoted to Spirit? Devoted to divinity? Devoted to ourselves? What does that mean to live in devotion? We see it done beautifully in religious orders, and we see it done horrifically in religious orders. What does it mean to be devoted? And how does devotion play in our lives? What does it play to? What do we find that we're devoted to that we didn't even know that we were devoted to? Our subconscious, that we find that is sacred to us, that we didn't know was sacred. Our subconscious tarot energy is the Eight of Swords reversed, which is brilliant. This is releasing doubts and fears and negativity, hurts and pains and disappointments that become like an echo chamber in our mind that say, you can't get out of this. We all know people who stay in their hurts and their pains and their fears and have it echoing and echoing and echoing in their mind, who live in a moment when they were heartbroken, when they were humiliated, when they were scared, and that's all they have. That's what their life boils down to. It's time that we release this. Yeah, our mind can be an echo chamber. Yeah, we can have really, really, really crummy days when we're angry and we're frustrated and we're overwhelmed. And because we have so much Aries energy, it can come out just as pure fire, pure rage, pure anger, pure disappointment. And we have to be mindful of that. The balancing in energy of Libra is so helpful to us. But we also have to be mindful of not playing to the people-pleasing aspect of Libra. Our subconscious Luna message is that we are resisting a time of healing. Will we accept this? Especially healing around our throat chakra, around our own voice ability to speak. We can find that we get sore throats or cold sores or something like that during this time because we can be afraid to let ourselves speak. We can be afraid to let ourselves heal. And that is going to show around our throat chakra. You know, it's going to show in our communication because Libra is an air sign energy. Libra is all about communication. All right. And Libra is ruled by Venus. Venus is all about love. So the communication of love. All right. All right, Cancer. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power, intensity, and beauty of this time and of ourselves. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Cancer. May blessings and prosperity always be with you. God bless. Bye.